coaches. Allora.
Hello and welcome to Kuwait Motor Town for the first event in the 2024 Formula 4 Saudi Arabia Championship, certified by FIA. My name is Aaron Thompson and we're coming to you live now for the qualifying race, or the qualifying session of the first event here in Formula 4 Saudi Arabia. I'm joined, of course, by Luca Filippi, one of our fantastic driver coaches, an ex-GP2 driver, and I think he's in F1 at the moment for testing as well. So, Luca, can you tell us what's going to go on here in qualifying?
Hello, motorsport fans from Kuwait Motor City, an amazing circuit, an amazing place. So here we are for finally the qualifying of this event, and yeah, I mean it's really exciting to be here, and finally we are ready for the action on track. Everybody, we're talking to the driver; they are all very nervous, excited for today, and definitely we have. No clue who can be the fastest today.
Well, talking about the track, it's Kuwait Motor Town here in Kuwait, of course. Beautiful country, beautiful city. A little bit cold here this morning because there's a lot of wind on track, as we talked about in free practice. And I think we have the circuit guide coming up in just a moment. So, Luca, can you talk us through the track, how many corners there are, the straights, and the length of the track, of course?
So, it's a very technical circuit. It's very long as well, 5.6 kilometers, and it's 20 corners. As you can see, there is a very strong and long straight line, and then 3-4 is like going downhill like a corkscrew, and then turn 6 is super long, multiple apexes, and then like also turn 12, 13, 14, 15. As you can see, it's a really long circuit as well. And finally, 19 is a flat-out corner that if you can take it flat out, you can maybe try and overtake in turn 20, which is definitely an overtaking spot. Then also in turn 1, we are using a configuration of a chicane that we call it 1A, 1B, where basically we organize all the drivers to have a look, and it's very technical because it's one extra potential overtaking opportunity into one, braking into one, and then there is a changing of elevation into the chicane.
Luca, thank you very much. And you can see on track now, well, not on track, in the pit lane, everybody queuing up for the start of qualifying. Pit lane is open at pit lane is open at 1:30 p.m. and we have Hamda Al-Kabaisi on the screen at the moment in the purple car. Luca, you've worked with the sisters this weekend and last weekend as well. What are their chances? What is their strategy here? Are they going to go for 4 hard push laps? Are they going to come in? They're going to go do 2 push laps, come in, change tires, do another 2, because of course they've got to set 4 fastest laps here in qualifying so that they have their starting grid set up for race 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, race 1, 2, 3, 4, the starting order is determined as follows. Race 1, fastest laps from qualifying. Race 2, second fastest laps from qualifying reversed. Race 3, third fastest laps from qualifying reversed. And race 4, the fourth fastest laps from qualifying. So Luca, as a driver, what would be your strategy for this weekend?
You know, it's really difficult to say because there are basically 2 different strategies. One, it could be to go out on the new set of tires, go out, warm up at least 1 lap, and then start pushing. And like you say, you have to set a very good first lap, but then not only the first one, the second, the third, and the fourth. All of them are really important. Also, the slowest of them is still determines your starting grid for the race 4, which is a really important race. It's not only the race that is closing the weekend, but is also the race that give to the drivers the full amount of points, like race 1, while 2 and 3 with the reverse grid they give you half of the point system. So basically you want to prioritize possibly race 1 and race 4, so you need 4 good lap times. So to do that, yeah, or you just go out, keep pushing on the tires. You might have maybe 1 cool lap in the middle of the session in order to bring the pressures again on target and then push again. Maybe there will be somebody trying to use both sets of tires. So going out, prepare 1 lap, do a couple of push laps, and then you have the time to pit, change your tires, and have the second set and do the laps remaining that you need to complete to have these 4 good laps. So, it depends. You could make both strategy working. At the end is the same mileage. It just depends on how you want to spread the mileage on the 2 different sets.
What would be your thought, Luca? I mean, if for all those young aspiring race fans out there, what would you do? What would Luca Filippi at age 15 do?
So, to be honest, I will probably try and set 3 times at the beginning of the session, just to make sure that I have something in the bag. You never know what can happen in a session. You could have yellow flags, you could have red flags, but also watch out to the track limits. I mean, it's never fun to speak about track limits, but definitely it's part of motor racing right now. So we'll have in race direction watching for those white lines, and you cannot cross the white line that edges the track with all 4 wheels. If you do, then your lap time is deleted, and they have like an automated system with cameras. It's called CCTV. It's like very automated and very fancy stuff that they can check every corner. So they have to watch out not to cross the line and not to have lap time deleted. Otherwise, then you have to keep adding mileage on your tires, and it's definitely potentially hurting your qualifying. So this is a little bit of the point. Maybe the more experienced driver, they can go for the 2 sets, but who has a little bit less experience, they have to prioritize finding the rhythm, getting the rhythm, and keep putting laps together.
So what are we going to look at here? We're going to see everybody. Well, we can see on track already we have the out lap going on. Are we going to have a warm-up lap? We were speaking earlier with the Pirelli advisor who's here this weekend with us, and he mentioned that it's very important with this new compound of tires to make sure you do the warm-up exactly right, because if you do it right, the tires last forever, he's saying. So what does that look like? Do they go out, do 1 or 2 cool laps and then push laps, or what's that strat? How does that work?
So normally with these tires you plan to do 1 out lap and at least 1 preparation lap, but I'm thinking we will see 2 preparation laps. So it means you go out, you cross the line, then you do a full lap of preparation with waving, then another lap pushing a little bit more, but still not 100% of preparing the tire. So it will be like a 3 actual total lap. And then you start pushing 100%, setting lap times. This is basically helping the pressure to come up slowly and more even front axle and rear axle. And you're trying also to warm up the tire, not only the surface of the tire, but also the construction and the sidewall of the tire, in order to have everything ready to go. And we have a target pressure that is set, that we have to reach it, and once all 4 tires reach this target temperature is when, pressure and temperature, then you have the best ultimate grip from the car, and that's when you want to push on your qualifying lap.
Well, everybody seems to be coming around and finishing their out lap, as it's called, and I can see sector times coming in now. Should we have a quick run through all the drivers, Luca, and talk about them and see who you predict is going to be on top? And in the number 5 car, that's the light blue car, we have Sagar Al-Mashur. Sagar, of course, racing with a Kuwaiti flag. We have also number 7, Faisal Al-Kabani, Saudi driver in the silver car. Hamda Al-Kabaisi, number 8 in the purple car, with her sister, of course, Amna Al-Kabaisi in the sister car, the other purple car, number 88, both drivers from the UAE. Abdullah Al-Kabaisi, that's the third Kabaisi on the grid in the orange number 9 car, driving again for the UAE. Followed closely by Federico Al-Rafai in the number 10 car, that's a white car. That car looks beautiful, Luca, but I gotta tell you, after every session they have to wipe down the whole car because it's filthy dirty on track. Oscar Wirtz is in the 11 car. He's driving for Austria. Austria had a fantastic weekend in Bahrain. Oscar Wirtz, I think, walked away with 2 race wins in his white car. Just after them, we've got number 18. That's Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani. He's another Saudi driver in a yellow car, actually. I think it's the only yellow on track, but it is a beautiful car. I really like the shade of that yellow. In the other light blue car, the sister car, to Sagar S. Al-Masherji, we have, of course, Christoph Krill, the CIK World Champion, joining us here for what I believe is his first foray into Formula cars. He's driving the number 23 and he's racing for Kazakhstan. He's just after him we have number 49, that's the red car of Andrei Petrovic, another world champion, this time from the Rotex category, driving for Serbia. In the sister orange car we have Sulman Zanfari, of course, in the number 52 car. Sulman had a good weekend as well back in Bahrain, and hopefully he can continue his luck from Morocco this weekend in Kuwait. Laura Villas in the dark blue number 55, she's a newcomer this weekend, driving for Switzerland. Juancho Rodolfo Borbio driving for the Philippines in the red number 77 car. We already spoke about Amna, so let's move on to Jabbar bin Hassan Bil Hathani. He's driving in the all carbon car number 96 for Qatar. He's joining us for race 2 this weekend because he can't get away from school. And in the number 99 green car we've got Abdulaziz Abu Zanada, again a Saudi driver, driving in the green car. So that's a fantastic lineup, ladies and gentlemen, and we can see on track now things are starting to heat up. Last lap was 2:19.817. As Luca was saying, we're going to look at 2 or 3 maybe slow laps before we get into the push laps, so we should be on this go around looking at a decent time. And on screen now we've got the 11 car. That, of course, is Oscar Wurz. As we said, Oscar was the man in the lead many times back in Bahrain, and he may well be on pole this weekend as well if he can pull it all together here in qualifying.
So we have the 2 white cars together at the moment. The white cars are from Oscar Wurz, like you say, and also from Federico Al-Rifai, the Italian driver living in Dubai. And those 2 have been really fast, both of them, and they were chasing for wins in Bahrain, so why not? We could see them also fighting here for a potential podium position, with Oscar that with a slight lock up in the last corner is going to P1 with a 2-minute 3 seconds 3, and is already looking a good lap time. This is already one of the laps that you need to have in the bag for the qualifying system.
So that's a 2:03 from Oscar, and a 2:03.3 from Oscar, a 2:03.7 from his teammate Federico El Rifai. That's the number 10 and 11 cars, of course 11 on pole at the moment. What do you say about that, Luca? I mean, that's exactly what we're looking for, 2:03s. What do you think the optimum lap time here is? You had to go around and you were saying 2:02s or 2:01s, or what's your position on that? What lap time are we looking for?
So yeah, I think 2:02 is the limit, just because today we have a little bit of extra wind. It could have been a little bit under 2:02, so maybe a high 2:01s, but maybe today is not the ideal condition because of the wind. So I think going into the 2:02 it will be already like going really fast.
So your prediction then is a low 2:03 here for qualifying. So let's see who else is on track. We've got Andrei Petrovic. He's just starting his 3rd lap. He's in sector 1, or he's in sector 2 at the moment. He did a 2:10 on his out lap, or his second out lap, his warm-up lap, and he should be coming into sector 2 any moment. But we have a new fastest sector 2 time set by Federico Al Rifai. Sector 1 as well as the fastest. He looks like he's going to set a better time than his teammate as he goes into sector 3. We'll see very soon as Juancho Borbio sets an excellent time, 2:09.410. Juancho, of course, from the Philippines, joining us for his first ever race here this week in the number 77 red car. He does a 2:09 in his first outing, so let's see where he can get on the grid, but I hope to see him in the top 10. Meanwhile, back to Federico Al Rifai and Oscar Wurz. Where are they on track? They're coming through sector 3 now. Any moment we should see them cross the start-finish line. I believe that's the 2 white cars, the teammates in 10 and 11, coming around down the final corner just now. In any second, we'll see them cross the start-finish line, and we'll see what these young gentlemen can give us. They're the fastest 2 cars on track as we talk about them, and we have a 2:02.575. Well, Luca, there you go. Definitely into the 2:02s, and hopefully down into the low 2:02s as well. At the moment, we're right dead in the middle. I don't see the fastest time for Oscar Wurz at the moment. Seems like he's gone into the pit lane. That might be a strategy call.
He went to the pits, like we could see that he was improving himself, but he has decided to go to the pits. So let's hope it's just to maybe change tires or to... Oh, it was already planned. But yeah, this was going to be a good lap for him, but he went to the pit while Federico was pushing, and he finished the lap, and now he's starting to slow down already, because the first sector is 1 second slower. So probably
a push and a slow, a push and a slow.
Yeah,
Keep the tires
exactly.
going as long as you can. Keep the car happy. As we're talking about Federico Al Rafai, Sulman Zanfari just sets the fastest sector one time of 33.840. His fastest second sector just set right now, 43.659. That puts him in a very good position, but it looks to me like he may have had a bit of trouble coming out of that corner. That might be number 12.
Still, he kept it on. Kept the foot down, and I think he tried still to keep the gas on the floor, even if the car was sliding around. Wow, that was really on the limit. Let's see if he lost some time or not. He's also purple in the second sector, so he didn't lose
Well,
much
that's in the
time.
third sector now, isn't it? That corner 12-13. Wasn't he here at the second, in the third sector?
So yeah, exactly. He's already in the third sector, so we have to check.
This is
if he
him
lost.
coming around now in the orange 52 car, about to come past the start-finish line. Let's have a look, ladies and gentlemen. What can he do? And yes, indeed, he set the fastest first sector, the fastest second sector, but the third sector let him down where he had a little bit squirrely coming out of, I believe it was turn 13-14, and that gave him a 45.70 in sector 3. Good enough for second place by just under 1/10 of a second, but that's not all Salman has in store for us this morning. It's very clear to see that he's got the pace, and he's going to be going around again, I'm sure, at giving us something very exciting to look at. Good news, ladies and gentlemen, the car number 11 car of Oscar Wett's back on track. I'm sure it was a quick word with the engineers. Did he go into new tires? That
Yes.
looks like slick. That looks like new slicks to me, stickers as they call them in America. Coming down to the pit exit now, you can see them going down and underway. So that was definitely a strategy call, and a very interesting strategy call indeed. What do you make of that, Luca?
So, you know, actually, with 18 minutes left, you want to keep your best tires with, you know, at the best time of the circuit, because the circuit is improving while all the cars, they put rubber down. So more or less like this, it will have one extra lap on the newer set compared to Federico Rifai. So I think, you know, he went out. That lap that we have seen, he was improving in sector 1 and 2. We may not know that the third sector wasn't going to be great, so maybe he decided to just call the lap and pit, save time. So with 17 minutes to go, you have more time to prepare the tires and keep pushing on the new set, which we believe it could be a little bit faster than with the first run, that you have also a slightly heavier car because of the fuel that burns down during the session.
Might be a bit of team strategy coming in there as well. Look at, they're both in the white team, so they may have just decided to stagger each other. One driver giving the other the benefit for this race, the next driver the next race. What kind of performance difference do you see in the change of tires? And is that a 202.102 from Solomon Zanfari? Fantastic second sector, fantastic third sector, but he didn't better himself in the first sector. So there's more to come. We may see a 201, a high 201, ladies and gentlemen, before the end of the race weekend. Here we come around now with the purple, no sorry, that would be the red car 49. That is Andrei Petrovic, I believe. Red flag, ladies and gentlemen. Red flag, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like something's happened on track. Let's have a quick word with race control and see what's going. Car number 18, transponder not working. I see the message on screen now. They're going to bring him in and see what happens. Everybody's going to have to come into the pit lane and line up in their pit boxes. We should have clock stopped at 16:39, so even though on screen you see 16:04 counting down, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, that will be reset when race control restarts the session. Car number 55 stuck in the gravel there. Car number 55, that is Laura Villas. Unfortunate end to qualifying for her. I'm not sure if she'll be allowed to resume qualifying. If she gets assistance from the marshals, I believe that's the end of her session. She's not allowed to continue. Is that right, Luca?
So yes, unfortunately, probably she won't be allowed to be back on track. And yeah, she looked quite far into the gravel, so she lost the car into turn 12. It's a really fast corner that you cannot stay flat out. You have just a little lift, sometimes a little tap on the brakes, and it's the same corner where we have seen Zanfari losing the car like wild oversteer in what we believe is his second best lap for the moment. So,
Well, what does that mean to Laura? Because she's only done 3 laps now, so in race 4, she's not going to have a lap time set, so that means she's going to have to take her times from free practice. Good thing they were all out and did 4 lap times in free practice, but they were going around quite slowly to conserve tyres, so we'll have to see exactly what happens there. I can see the safety marshals going onto track now in there, but have you seen the marshal buggies? They're fantastic things. I'm trying to get a ride around myself.
yeah, looks like something you want to try in the sand dunes. More than in the gravel trap. But yeah, let's see if Laura can resume. That would be definitely fantastic. This corner is a really tricky corner. It's easy to lose the car. Sometimes if you can keep the car straight, you can maybe just use the runoff area and then resume on track, but just by losing that single lap time. But in this case, if you lose the car, then we have the gravel, which is quite far from the exit curve, but definitely in this case at high speed, if you lose control, then the car gets quite
the engine goes ahead of you and there's nothing to be done about it anymore at that stage.
It's hard to stop it when it's like that.
But this is an F1 grade 1 circuit, Luca, and that looks to me to be 20 or 30 meters of runoff there, so nothing to worry about, folks. She's in the gravel, she's being pulled out now. We can see the pickup truck coming to pick her up. Let's have a quick run through the standings as they are at the moment. We have Salman Zanfari in the lead with a 2:02.102, followed closely by Federico Alrafai with a 2:02.575. Right behind them, finishing out the top 3, we've got Andrei Petrovic with a 2:03.305. Oscar Wirtz, 2:03.341. I mean, that's the top 4 there, quite closely together. But really, Solomon has taken a huge gap out of Federico Alrafai. That's 4/10 between the top 2 drivers. Solomon's really found something here in this session.
Yeah, so definitely aware, but also we have to say that the strategy that other people were doing to burn fuel and to have the best tire for the end of the session, the red flag didn't help for these people, like for Oscar that stopped 1 lap early, or for the 2 Al-Kubaisi stifters that they were still bringing up the tires to the target. So this red flag doesn't help them. While Zanfari, what he did is to put at least 2 good laps in the bag, which in this case is working well for him, because with 16 minutes to go and standing into the pits, the tire they will be again going down on temperature, is the guy that at least has less pressure between now and the end of the session, while people that were trying to keep the best condition for the end, they still have to do most of the job, so it's getting more difficult with a bit of a shorter time into this session.
Do I hear engines starting up, Luca? Are we expecting to go back on track any moment? I still see the red flags being waved though, so they should be waiting at the end of pit lane.
So Laura now, she's back into the runoff area, and if she can restart the car, but they are now pulling her probably in a safe area. It is not a long wait, I believe, but yeah, I think they're starting also to warm up the engine and getting ready to go. Would be interesting to know if Zanfari has decided to change his tires, or if he kept the same set as he has started. So
well, that's Oscar. That's number 10 car there, definitely on stickers there. Right behind him, is that his teammate behind him, or is that a light blue car of Kutskov Krill? Where is Krill this weekend? He's got only 3 laps on track. I think he probably was disadvantaged by Laura's accident. It looks like he did the 2 warm-ups, was doing a push on his third lap, and then had to cut it quits for the red flag. I'm sure he's going to be determined to get up to the top of the standings when he gets back out on track, though. So everybody better look out for the light blue car in their mirrors, because here he comes and he's aiming for pole position.
Definitely, it's always like that in the qualifying session, you stop the clock when you have a red flag condition, but the time you lose is more into the going out and warming up procedure that you have after the red flag, and also into getting the rhythm again. So sometimes it pays off just to keep pushing and and put some laps on the time keeping, and make sure you already are safe and have some laps. Otherwise, sometimes with the circuit evolution, it's better to have a lighter car after burning fuel and still some rubber left on your tires to push when it's late into the session, and maybe other people are already done with their tires, not able to improve anymore, but maybe you still have the peak of the tire there. But in this case, it's a bit tough with 16 minutes to go.
And these cars, Luca, these are race cars, of course, so they don't have water cooling. They're all air-cooled. So they have to turn off their engines at the end of the pit lane to stop at the red light here. So you'll see the marshals join them with jump batteries, and you can see there that's actually Dato Nick on screen at the moment with a Milwaukee blower coming down to blow into the air intake to keep the engines from overheating at the end of the pit lane. You can see the red flag there still waving. We're still waiting on Laura to be recovered. I saw her being pulled into the... They're not pulling her around track, they're pulling her into the service road. Can you see her, Luca? I don't see the car anymore.
Yeah, they're just cleaning up the runoff area from the gravel, and then once they are done, they will take out the recovery truck from the runoff area. But I think we will be ready very shortly, like in a minute or so, and ready to rock and roll. With the Alcobazi, definitely they were starting to push. They were building up slowly the pressure and the temperature of the tires, like we were explaining.
I can just see Laura being towed back now on the service road in front of us. And so that means we must have just a few minutes more before the restart of the session. As you were saying, Luca, Alcobazi is definitely getting to start to push. But I've seen on my screen now several laps being deleted. Car number 49, I've seen 79, I've seen 52, I've seen even car number 8. That's Samna Alcobazi, if I'm not mistaken. Several laps being deleted. Did you have a chance to talk to the race director about track limits, Luca? Is that what's going on here?
So basically, with track limits is as simple as that. They count the white lines as the limit of the track. So it means that at least one tire...
Sorry, Luca, sorry to interrupt you. Looks like we're back on track now. Yes, indeed, here we go. Number 10 car of Federico Alrafai coming out of the pit lane. Number 7 just behind him, and it was Faisal Al-Kabaini in the silver car. He looks to be going on used tires, whereas the man in front of him, Federico Alrafai, going out on news. Be very interesting to see how the end of this session takes out the strategy component of everything, whether going on used the whole session and maintaining your tires for the races, or scrubbing them in, and to see what's the best strategy, because we had a look at it last weekend, but it's different from track to track. Especially, Luca, you were telling me earlier that this track is a very different style of driving than the Bahrain track, whereas Bahrain you're looking more of a V-shape profile as on your speed curve. Here you're looking more of a U-shape profile. You need to carry as much speed through the corner as possible, brake earlier and carry more speed is the dumbed down way that I put it. What's going on now, Luca? Do they have to warm up their tires? I mean, the car behind on the used tires, can he push immediately? Is that why he's being let through?
Yeah, exactly. So when you are on used tires, then the warm-up is definitely shorter. Also because when you are going out on new tires, you have the shiny parts that on the surface makes the tire very slippery, and at least for half lap you just have to clean this and sort of do a bit of scrubbing and peeling this little shiny part, and then is when you start warming up. And in this case they have to a little bit speed up, let me say, the warm-up procedure, because with 14 minutes to the end, it's important to don't lose too much time. Also because you never know, you might have another potential yellow flag or red flag. So it's a qualifying, everybody's pushing 100%, everybody's on the limit, so you have a bit of a higher risk in having people making mistakes, which is normal.
Yes, indeed. And talking of making mistakes, last time around we saw the orange number 52 do a fantastic lap, but there was a little bit of squirreliness coming around 12, 13, 14. So what do you think he can get down to? He's at a 2:02.575 right now. Do you in the last fastest lap? Oh, I see. he's had a lap time deleted. He was at 202.1. Now he's back to 202.575. That makes things much more interesting because Solomon Zanfari is actually now, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, Solomon Zanfari is now back into second position with a 202.669 after having his lap time deleted, and Federico Al-Rafai is now up into first position with his 202.575. So that makes things very interesting indeed as we see the orange car on screen coming down the main straight into turn 1. Ladies and gentlemen, the start of his next lap, and let's see what he can give us.
Yeah, so sector 1 is not improving himself, Zanfari, but he's a good sector 1, so definitely he's in line with what he did before. That corner number 5, it was really on the limit with, like we were saying, staying off the white line and making sure at least a part of one tire is in contact with the line. That's a track limit. So if he was able to just have a bit of a tire in contact, then it's fine. But like we said before, the race control has a very accurate system. So if by mistake you just put your 4 wheels behind the white line, then it's an automatic delete of your lap time. So now with the 12 minutes to go, you don't want to miss any more lap time. You don't want to lose time and also rubber, because every lap is deleted is rubber that you basically waste in your lap time. For example here, yeah, he did it. He managed to keep it on track, but just
well, he must have been listening to you, Luca, and he must have been listening earlier on as well, because he just set the fastest second sector of the session, and indeed he's probably got the current fastest first sector as well, although it wasn't an approval on his personal best, and sector 2 fastest overall. And now we're about to see what happens in sector 3 as he crosses the start finish line and goes into pole position with a 201.797. Very impressive indeed. But just behind him we have more cars about to cross the start finish line. We have Faisal Al-Kabani doing personal bests in sector 1 and sector 3, and of course we have Andrei Petrovic in third place at the moment, setting personal best on sector 3 as well. I'm hearing a bit of tire squealing, Luca. Are they all pushing as hard as I feel they are?
Yeah, exactly. We heard some tire screaming, definitely. Yeah, you know, we don't wanna have any more yellow flag situation, but it looks good for the moment.
And also, when Krill just crosses the line with the 203.071 to demote Petrovic down into fourth position. Sorry to interrupt you there, Luca, but I've been waiting for this moment when Krill just switches things on and comes onto the front of the grid.
Yeah, Kirill definitely yesterday at a certain point he just clicked and he switched on his race mode. He's karting OK world champion, so we all know he's an amazing talent, and now he also likes the circuit. You know, you start to like the circuit once you get the rhythm into it and once you understand the flow of the circuit, and definitely he's enjoying it. He's in P3 and still improving.
Yes, indeed, and he's continuing to improve here through sector 1, where he sets his personal best sector with a personal best sector 1 with a 33.986. That's I think that's actually the fastest on track at the moment, although not the fastest overall in the whole session. Zanfari still at the 201.797 in first position, where we have Federico Al-Rafai just behind him in a 202.575, followed of course by Christoph Krill with a 203.071, and behind them Andrei Petrovic with the 203.306. Rounding out the top 5, we've got Oscar Wirtz with the 203.341. All cars on track at the moment, I believe, as we go round here at the Kuwait Motor Town for the first event qualifying here in Formula 4 Saudi Arabia. Number 10 on screen at the moment, that is, excuse me ladies and gentlemen, that can't be number 10, that must be the number 5 of Sagir Al-Masraj, the Kuwaiti driver. Where is Sagar this qualifying session, Luca? Where is Sagar Al-Masraj? He's down in 12th position. What's going on with Sagar? Has he not had a chance to push yet? Well, he's only had 3 laps at the moment, so he must have been disadvantaged by Laura. And Solomon Zanfari up into first position as he has been, while Christoph Krill was just about to beat him, and he set a new fastest lap of a 202.284, and he was denied by Federico Al-Rafai. So the standings stay as they are, but everybody improving dramatically. all have personal best this time around, so everybody's really starting to come up to temperature and start pushing. Omar Al-Duraini, ladies and gentlemen, the Saudi driver in the green car in the yellow car number 18, into the top 5, and Sagar Al-Mashaj must have heard me talking about him, because he's now P6 with 2:03.034. That is very much up there. He's about to break into the top 5, and I'm sure once he does that, he'll push past the barrier and find his way into the top 3 as well, because he had a fantastic race last time out in Bahrain. Federico Al-Rafai sets the fastest first sector of the session, just as we were talking about Sagar, with a 33.769. He's chasing down Salman Zanfari in front. And you've got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just about the fastest lap here in this qualifying session. You have to set 4 fastest laps, so that you secure yourself for all 4 races. And as we continue to come around here at the Kuwait Motor Town, Luca Philippe, where's your head at the moment? Where do you think, what do you think is going to be pole position in race 1?
We have Federico Al-Rifai and Oscar Wurz, that now he's also on a purple sector, and the 2 white cars, they are on a charge. They just went on the new tires shortly, just a few minutes ago, for, let's say, the second part of the session after the red flag, and now is the time where you have the peak of the tire, you have to use the most of it. We have Federico in P2, very, very close to Zanfari, and now he's improving. So Federico is definitely on a charge. He will be super close to Zanfari. Let's see if he's in front or behind. But also Oscar Wurz, he just made a slight mistake in sector 2, Oscar. Let's see what he can pull out.
Is that, oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, Federico Al-Rafai does a 2:01.451. The times are tumbling, Luca. We're down to the mid 2:01s. Will we see a 2:00?
Wow, I mean, I didn't expect that. Like 2:01s is already an amazing lap time with 7 minutes to go. I don't think so. I think this is more or less what we expected in the very best situation. So it means these two, for the moment, Federico and Zanfari, they are the only one under the 2:02s, and they are doing amazing laps, with Suleiman Zanfari now also improving himself in the first sector. So with Oscar Wurz in third.
Well, you say that, Luca, but that last time around, Federico set the best sector of Sector 3 only. Sector 1 and 2 were only personal bests, and now he's gone fastest overall in Sector 1. So he may still be finding time yet. Following behind him, Solomon Zanfari, as you said, personal best now in Sector 1, and Oscar Wurz up into third position with the 2:02.095, personal bests in Sector 1 and Sector 3. But Sector 2, oh my gosh, there's a red flag, ladies and gentlemen. 6 minutes left to go on the session, and we have a red flag. We'll know shortly what exactly has happened, but the clock has stopped with 6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. I can see them now, ladies and gentlemen. It looks to me to be a dark car, maybe a purple car, in the gravel at turn 6, I believe it is. Perhaps we can have a close-up there on screen to see exactly what happened. Red flag, as you can see, is that turn 11 and 12? It is indeed, ladies and gentlemen, turn 11 and 12. What happened there? Must have been, as you said, Luke, it's full throttle through that session, through that sector. You can see it on screen at the moment, just at the bottom of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, the car right there. I can't tell who it is, but we'll bring up the tracker on screen to see if we can see it. And is that... can you see where
55.
they are, Luke?
Number 55.
Number 55. Is that Lara again? Lara stuck again. She must have gotten going in the pit lane and is now off at turn 12, or between turn 10 and 11, I'm sorry.
So turn 11 is a flat out corner, but still, you know, it's not like a super easy flat out section. So you come out of turn 7, which is a third gear corner, and from there you do turn 8, 9 flat out, and then 10, which you prepare the line for turn 11. In 11, you use still all the space on the outside on the curb, and I have to say that for, you know, Formula cars at that speed, basically the aerodynamic and the speed compresses the car near the floor, and when that happened and you go on the curb, then the car is bottoming on the curb. When the car is bottoming on the curb, if you use too much of the curb, basically the floor of the car is in between two wheels on the curb and two wheels outside the curb, then the bottoming sometimes makes the car unstable and you may lose it on speed. This is because, you know, at 200 kilometers per hour, basically the car compresses and is lower, and it's a curve that you shouldn't, you know, touch, but if you arrive too fast and you lose the line a little bit, it can happen. And when you get there, you know, it's not the ideal situation and you may lose the car like it has happened.
Quite right, Luca. We can see Solomon Zanfari is ready and pouncing and ready to go. He's in second position at the moment with the 201.797, having just been pushed out of the top spot by Federico Alrafai, who's currently holding the best lap time of 201.451. He had continued on that lap where they had red flagged, setting the best overall first sector at 33.683 just before Laura came into the gravel in sector 2. So there's time to be found still if he's finding purple sectors as he goes around. I think we have car number 77 still going around on track. That's the red car of Juan Cho, I believe. Juan Cho joining us from the Philippines this weekend. His first event actually in Formula Car racing, and he's doing quite well, I have to say, for a first timer. We were all quite happy with him during the pre-season testing. We were joined as well by another Kuwaiti test driver just for the unofficial testing before the start of the race, before the start of the season I should say, and I've got to say, Luca, there's some talent out here ready to join next season, I believe.
Absolutely. I think that Juancho has made an impressive improvement. He's a hard worker, you know. He studies a lot. He looks at the data. He has his little book where he writes anything he thinks, anything you say to him, anything he sees. He analyzes a lot, videos all the time, and every time he sees something that he take a note and he put it on his little book. So he is really methodic and is passionate. He wants to improve, and that's the mentality that helps you going forward every day. While also the other driver that we have with not so much experience, like we were talking about, for example, Saker in car number 5 or Omar in car number 18, is impressive what they are doing, since they only had few days of testing back in Malaysia with a Miguel car, and since they arrived here they've shown an amazing talent. So once we gave them this different package that we have now with the Tatus, Autotecnica and Pirelli, they found a car that is generally a little bit faster and maybe with a little more grip, but they just felt at home since the very first day, and they've shown an amazing speed, because both Saker and Omar, they had podiums in Bahrain in the trophy event, and I think is impressive for the little experience they have, not only in driving the car but also in the racing, having race starts, restarts, because we have seen a bit of every situation, safety car situation, and I mean, they managed it perfectly, and they both had very strong races, finishing on the podium, and I think that is what we want to see, like guys with more experience making the pace. Like for the moment we have, for example, Federico Arifai and Zanfari, also Oscar, that they have a little more experience, but also drivers that they have less, but they have a lot of talent, and they can display the talent.
Well, that's the whole purpose of F4, Luca, as you know. I mean, it used to be Formula BMW or Formula 2000 before that, or Formula Ford and Formula Opel Lotus before that. It's had many iterations in the junior categories of the slicks and wings series. But that's exactly what we're here for. We're here to help you get all the way up to F1. Of course, you start in Formula 4, or I should say you start in karting, and then you make your way into Formula 4, and then you move up to Formula 3, Formula 2, and Formula 1.
And this car is also really nice to drive. Like, I've been driving this car quite a bit, both in Bahrain and also here. And it's a car that is really teaching you how to drive. And it teaches you different driving style. Like we were saying that in Bahrain, you need to have more of an efficient style in the braking and the acceleration. While here, you have to prioritize the minimum speed, the rolling speed, but but definitely I think we're giving them the best package possible with this car, but also with identical setups to everybody. Everybody has access to the same identical setup. We have a 100% sharing of video, data analysis, and everybody is starting on the same amount of fuel. So the purpose of it is to have everybody having the identical opportunities on the identical cars. All the cars were brand new since the Bahrain event. So I think it's amazing that at this age you don't have to worry about it. You just have to worry about driving the car and improving every day your driving. Then definitely we also teach them how to explain the car behavior, how to help your engineer to make the car faster, because it's part of the process. But then
talking
it's
about
nice
going
that,
faster, Luca, we're back on track now with the
yeah.
green flag for the remainder of the session. 6 minutes left to go, just about. Let's see what's going to happen. Federico Al-Rafai, Solomon Zanfari, perhaps the stars of the session, but I've got a funny feeling that Krill's going to pull something out at just the last moment and shock us all. What do you think, Luca?
You know what? 5 minutes to go. It's difficult because also the pressure is raising. So somebody has to deal with the pressure now. Also, everybody coming out together, they will try to get somebody else's toe, the slipstream, which it helps with the Formula 4, definitely. It gives you a little bit of extra speed on the end of the straight, but also the reference point. So if you can stay behind the fast driver, is never a bad idea. The other thing is that for race 4, we might have, for the moment, a bit of a tricky classification, because not everybody were able to do 4 fast laps. So if they cannot pull a good lap in the last 4 minutes, then we might have a bit of a different
You're right, indeed.
grid for the race 4.
You can see here there's several people with only 5 laps, 6 laps. That means really their 2 or 3 warm-up laps, and plus their in and out laps are counted in that. So you can. So you got to take into account that maybe they didn't get a chance to actually do what they needed to do on track.
Yeah, so definitely who prioritized in this session, just pushing and putting laps together with 2 red flags. Definitely he did the right thing. You never know if you have a red flag or not, but it's racing. So now we have the
some in the
Kuwait
bank,
pushing
so
now.
you're ready to go. Kubasi on screen as you talk about them. Is that the sisters together on screen? The 2 cars together do look fantastic as they come down now. Which straight is that? Is that the back straight coming into turn 2? Is it?
Exactly, turn 2, very long straight, and then you brake into turn 2 and you go up the hill. Then we have this corkscrew that. Believe me, it really goes down, and then compression up again on this very long, super long turn 6. As you can see from here, is more than 180 degree, very long, and it's also fast because you arrive up to 5th gear just before braking and going left into the exit of 6 and then 7.
We were talking earlier, Luca, about warming up the tires. With only 3 minutes left on track at the moment as they come around for the start of their first push lap, what will they have had to have done on the out lap to get everything going and ready to give it their all?
So the out lap is crucial. In fact, for example, Federico is on the purple sector in this very first flying lap, so it means he was able to warm up very quickly. He also have a good experience. But also Kirill is really fast and is improving in his second sector. His first sector wasn't great, but Al-Kubaisi with Amda, she's pushing hard. We can see also
Amda is less than 2/10 off the lead at the moment.
this
at least
is
in sector 2.
very good. Into the last corner, turn 20, on the limit. There she is.
Coming across the start finish line now. Let's see what happens. Federico Al-Rafai betters himself up into with a 2:01.44. Well, he's still in first place with a 2:01.451. Suleiman Zanfari still with a 2:01.671. Kutskov Krill into third with the 2:02.070. So he is catching in, still 5/10s off, but he's getting right up in there. Oscar Wirtz 2:02.095. He's still in fourth position, while Petrovic Andrei is still in fifth position with 2:02. But where are the Kabesi sisters? Well, one of them, Hamda, is in sixth position with the 2:03.330, so she's very close to getting into the top 5.
But the fight is really tough, because the first two, they have a little bit of a gap, but from P3 to P10, basically it's only within a few tenths of a second. So if you can improve your lap time, then automatically you gain quite a lot of position. So the fight in between P3 and P10, it's still on, because it's still 1 minute to go. You have to try and maximize this very end of the session, because people are still improving. We can still see green sectors.
And indeed, you're right, Luca. We can see a 3:3.816 personal best for Kirill in the first sector, personal best for Oscar Wirtz in the first sector, personal best for Hamda Al-Kabesi in the first sector and in the second sector as well. Now, looks like Kirill had not the optimal second sector, but Hamda Al-Kabesi, no, sorry, Faisal Al-Kabani had a fantastic second sector, best of his session so far as well. As we come around now, on screen we have the light blue car of the number, sorry, that's the light blue car of Kuskov Kirill, the number 23 car. Kuskov, of course, in third position. Sector 2 not as fast as he wanted to be, not a green time on board, but he's still got a chance to prove himself. Will he cross the start-finish line with time for a third? Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen. Kabesi has shocked us all, and she's up into third position with a 2:02.056, less than half a tenth off of pole position, and Kuskov Krill into the 2:01s with a 2:01.990. That's the checkered flag. Do we get one more lap for everybody cross the start finish line before the checkered flag?
So I think Kirill was still able to not cross the line, also Amda, while Petrovic definitely got the checker flag, and Omar Alderayan as well. So let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the last moment, Sagar Al-Mashaj crosses the line to put himself into fourth position with a 43.059 in sector 2 and a 2:01.867 overall. Oscar Wirtz as well, kicking Suleiman Zanfari out of second position, so to claim second for his own with a 2:01.615. Look at that. We've got in first position 2:01.451, 2:01.615, 2:01.671, 2:01.897. Everybody 2:01.990. That's the top 5 within 5/10 of a second. That's fantastic.
It's really close racing. This is amazing. So I think we will have a very exciting race weekend. Wow, this is a fantastic finish of the session. Everybody, we're still trying to pull out the very last few miles per hour into the corners, and they did. You know, when you see that the time is ticking and is the last lap, you just wanna throw the car and go for it, and you take a little bit of extra risk. Sometimes it pays off.
A little bit extra risk is too much sometimes. Car number 8, she had worked her way up into 5th position, Hamda El-Kabesi, but she's just gotten that lap time deleted, unfortunately.
Oh yes, such a shame for Hamda.
It was a fantastic lap right at the last second, but it was a little bit too much of a push. She must have gone over the line somewhere, and race control, well, they saw it and they took it away from her. So at the end of the session now, we have Federico Al-Rafai with a 2:01.451, Oscar Wirtz in second position with a 2:01.615, Suleiman Zanfari with a 2:01.671, Sagar Al-Mashaj with a 2:01.867, doing Kuwait very proud indeed, I must say, up into the top four for the end of the session. And of course Kirill, CIK world champion, with a 2:01.990. That's got to say a lot there for Kuwait, that Sagar is doing so fantastically against his sister car. Looks as well that we might have had another lap time deleted, car number 99 lap car deleted. So that's Abdulaziz Abu Zanada. That's unfortunate for him as well. Of course, everybody pushing as hard as they can to get the lap in at the last moment. As Lucas said, a lot of stress with only 5 minutes on the board. And And well, that is what it is, isn't it? You push as hard as you can, and unfortunately sometimes you push a little bit too hard. Everybody coming around now, going into the pit lane, just a little bit of a cool down lap and then into the pit lane. Is there anything special you have to do in the cars to cool them down, or is it only heating them up you got to worry about, Luca?
Yeah, so it's not the main thing is in the in-lap is not to go outside the line just because you pick up all the dirt with a hot tire that it sticks on the rubber. You don't want to do it, and also the marbles that they are off the line. So you just try to stay on line, don't go too slow, not to pick up like I said, the dirt or the marbles, and then just go to the pit and see if you have to celebrate or not. I'm quite impressed by the second sector of Sakera Mosherji. Definitely, that's super quick. Like
well, he's 4/10 faster than Oscar is, just in the second sector. So he's got lots of time until he can find.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy with an amazing talent, and sometimes you know, he can pull these super performances out of the hat, and definitely the second sector is something that I want to see more about it, so I will definitely go see his video and see what he did.
Indeed. We are all just coming now into the pit lane, and of course we're going to have some quick interviews with the drivers when they jump out of their cars. While that goes on, Luca, I think I've seen on screen that car number 49, Andrei Petrovic, got a lap time deleted, which has promoted Hamda Al-Khabaisi into 6th position. That's very lucky there. Or very unlucky, depending on how you look at it.
You know, everybody is really pushing the limit as much as possible, also in using as much as track width as they can. Before the session, believe me, all of us, we went to all the drivers saying again, watch out the track limits, just give yourself a little bit of a margin, mostly because you need the 4 laps in order to have you know, a good classification, a good starting grid for race 4 as well. So for that point of view, we might have drivers with maybe not enough counting lap times, but we'll see.
Well, let's see it again. In just a few seconds, we're going to have the highlights of the session up on track. So, Luca, what do you remember from the session? What was the best thing coming around for you?
So, definitely the competition. The competition has been amazing. We had surprises all the time, and the level is going up every time we are on track. So, these guys are pushing each other. And it's positive for all of them because they are improving.
If you remember, that was the little squirrely incident that for the first red flag of the session. He improved, of course. Laura Villas in the 55 car, unfortunately the cause of the red flag. She was in the gravel there, but not to worry, she got back on track. She managed to set 3 lap times, so she will be able to do her races. Zanfari, really a star of the session, all the way up until the last 5 minutes, when all of a sudden everybody woke up and really started to put in the lap times. The number 10 car of I believe that's Federico Al-Rafai, his main rival in the session, but just at the end, the 11, the teammate car, the other white car, managing to get his way up into 2nd position, which is absolutely fantastic news for Austria after such a strong outing in Bahrain. Really, it was a fantastic session. As you said, top 5 cars were within 5/10 of a second. The next 5, another 5/10 of a second. So really, it's such a strong and interesting grid to watch. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that's with a lot of track limit penalties. So really, we could have seen a lot more. And I'm sure drivers like Andrei Petrovic have a lot to show us. He's the Rotax world champion indeed. So he's definitely got the speed under his belt. And we saw at the end of the race, unfortunately, he had a lap time deleted, which is why he's back behind the number 8 car of Hamda Al-Khabaisi in 7th or 8th position. So there's a lot more to come from these young drivers, and I'm sure we're going to see it this week, if not this weekend, definitely next weekend for the second event, because of course we're at a double header here in Kuwait Motor Town for the first and second races, or first and second events in the start of the season. Luca, what happens next to these young drivers? They've got race 1 coming up in just a few hours at 3:20. That's just under 2 hours. What do they have to do between sessions? Is a lot of them going on?
So first of all, they have to analyze the data with their engineers. So definitely, I expect them to have a comparison on the data and also analyze the videos of the pole position.
Well, I think we're about to have a word with the guy on pole position in just a moment. We have Marcello Puglisi down on the Parc Ferme area, just in front of the in front of the pit garages. So let's see what they have to say.
Okay, Federico, RFI, the pole sitter for this first race here in Kuwait. So, Federico, 2:01 for a 3-car on track. Actually, you were really consistent during the qualifying. Where did you gain so much compared to the previous day? The track was better, you were driving better. Just give us some tips.
Definitely the car was perfect today. Thanks to my engineer, you know, we made a few changes from yesterday as I was struggling a bit with understeer, and we kind of fixed it today, and car felt really good. Track was really good also, and I focused on the key areas I needed to improve yesterday, and I kept it consistent, so yeah, it was good.
What do you think about the race? You had a really good consistency, even compared to Oscar and compared to Suleiman. What do you think?
Yeah, hopefully I can keep it consistent. I'll try my best, get a good start, head down, and yeah, let's see what the race holds for us.
Thank you, Federico. Good luck for the race.
Thank you very much, Marcello. And now back to Luca. Now, Luca, you've been in his possession once a time. Well, I'm sure more than once a time. So can you tell us what's going through his head right now?
So definitely, I think it was very tough to know who was the fastest. So I think Federico just gave his best, and it's the best way to start a weekend. You know, it's a bit of pressure off your shoulders.
Well, yeah, you're from your words to mouth to God's ears. So really with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the qualifying session here for the first event in 2024 Formula 4 Saudi Arabia Championship, certified by the FIA. From me, Aaron Thompson, and of course from Luca Philippe, thank you very much for watching, and I hope we see you again at 3:20 for the first race of the season. Luca, thank you very much. I'll see you again very soon.
See you later.